children are streaming back to school for the first time since Assad fled. Syrian Christians also attended regular Sunday services for the first time since the dramatic overthrow of President Bashar al-Assad a week ago, in an early test of assurances by the new Islamist rulers that the rights of minorities will be protected. Before Assad fell, historic religious minority groups, including Christians, worshipped freely, and some remained jittery at the prospect of an Islamist government. Syria is home to multiple ethnic and religious minorities, including Christians, Armenians, Kurds, and Shiite Muslims. The Assad family itself belongs to the minority Alawite faith, an offshoot of Shiite Islam in Sunni Muslim majority Syria. Tens of thousands of mostly Shiite Muslims have fled Syria for Lebanon in the last week out of fear of persecution by the country's new rulers. Such is the situation in Syria right now. The calm is slowly coming in, and it's returning to the streets of Damascus. Indeed, India's DV Vinod joins us live to give us more inputs. Hi, Mr. Vinod. How are you doing, first of all? And also, how do you analyze the current situation in the region as Israel approves Golan Heights occupation?
Hi, thank you. Before we go to the Israel's approval of the Golan Heights, we should know where Golan Heights is and the tumultuous history that Golan Heights has undergone. This Golan is a striking basaltic place due nestled in the southwest corner of Syria, a land shaped by both its terrain and its tumultuous history. To the south, it's the Yarmouk River, and the west, it is marked by the anti-Lebanon mountains, and into the west, it is a Sea of Galilee. So it is basically a buffer zone between Israel and Syria. The events surrounding Golan Heights tell a story of decades-long conflict, and it started, in the modern history, it started in the year 1967. In the 1967, for the Six-Day War, Israel had a decisive victory and annexed this Golan Heights along with the Sinai Peninsula of Egypt. But Syria had maintained a staunch stance that they will not that Israel occupy the place, and they maintained the stance in the Arab League summit in the same year. The fragile turning point came after the 1973 Yom Kippur War. In that war, Syria made advances and annexed back some of the portions that Israel had taken, and but however, 1/3 of the territory still stayed under Israeli control. So Israelis began construction of settlements there, and in the year 1981, a new Golan Heights law was passed by the Israeli Knesset, which effectively meant annexation. And the international community widely condemned this act, and even the United Nations have adopted the resolution number 497, saying that this annexation is null and void. Decades later, in 2011, the Syrian Arab Spring and the Syrian Civil War began, and this area again became a battleground between the forces between the Syrian opposition groups, and Israel was also a part of that. In between, the United Nations Disengagement Observer Force was the only agency which has demarcating this buffer zone between Israel and Syria. They maintain this purple line, which is a 266 kilometer square stretch of land aimed at giving this. So after this 2024 December events, after the fall of Assad, Israel is again beginning construction of settlements in Golan Heights. Already the 31,000 Israelis have settled there, and the Syrian villagers and the local Syrian Jewish population, which is settled in Golan Heights, were asked to leave the place, and their electricity is being cut there. Their water supply is being cut. And now, last Thursday, several Arab countries have described Israel's actions as land grab, and de facto leaders have asked to stop this thing. And,
okay, so Vinod, the situation is tense there. You're trying to say that?
So the situation is not tense, but it is a bit of confusing state of affair, because there are four active militant groups which is trying to rank up power. One is the HTS, which is currently the main faction. Then we have the Kurdish-led forces in the west, is the SDF, and the Alawite population on the coastal area, which were supporting the fallen Bashar al-Assad regime, and loose association of militants in the south, which is given support by Jordan. So we have to.
Okay,
wait
so
and
the
see what
situation is
game
confusing there, and definitely we know.
it's a bit of
Yeah,
confusing
indeed.
because we do not have a
All
proper
right.
government in Syria now, and
Yeah.
HTS has formed the prime minister, but
Okay.
only time will tell what will happen.
All right, Vinod, we'll keep taking updates on this. Thank you so much for joining in.